between the USA and the UK to do so. And the district court, the counsel for the accused argued that the 1931 treaty between the UK and the USA was not an applicable law in modern-day Ghana. In the view of the district court judge, the case raised an issue of interpretation. Therefore, the case was forwarded to the Supreme Court for its interpretation. At the Supreme Court, it stated that the case did not raise an issue of interpretation because it was clearly stated in the 1931 treaty that it was to be applicable to all former colonies of the United Kingdom. Since Ghana was a former colony of the United Kingdom, the 1931 treaty between the UK and the USA was also applicable to Ghana. Therefore, that treaty was an existing law in Ghana. All laws in Ghana are subject to the supremacy of the Constitution, and existing laws are no exception. In the case of Mensima versus Attorney General, the plaintiff was a member of a registered cooperative union that distills a local gin called Apetishi. He broke free from this union and registered a company where he continued to do so. However, members and officers of the union continued to harass him and impounded his goods. They did this in reliance on Regulation 31 and 37 of the Manufacture and Sale of Spirits Regulation 1962. That law stated that for a person to be given a license to distill the local gin Apetishi, he or she must belong to a registered cooperative union. The plaintiff brought an action to the Supreme Court for a declaration that said law was inconsistent with the Constitution. The counsel for the defendant argued that the regulation was an existing law that had not been repealed. Therefore, the court must give effect to it. The court disagreed with the view of the counsel for the defendant and stated that the fact that an existing law had not been repealed does not mean the court has to give effect to it always. And based on the facts of that case, it was held that that existing law was inconsistent with the Constitution because it sought to force an individual to join an association he or she clearly does not want to be part of. In conclusion, the existing laws are the written and unwritten laws as they existed before the coming into force of the Constitution, and any act, law, decree, or statutory instruments that were made before that but takes effect on or after the coming into force of the Constitution. Also,